Hey there, Master D coming at you again with another video. This time I'm going to be taking a look at Yoder Smoker's new Santa Maria grill called the El Dorado. I'm going to be comparing it to the Santa Maria grill that I believe that they may have been taking inspiration from and or copying, however you want to look at it, which would be M&M's El Niño and also El Rey, which came before El Niño, which is the smaller version. Why do I think that they copied this? Well, the Spanish names, Santa Maria grills have been getting Spanish names for a while. Centera does it. Several others, sort of digging into the gaucho grill sort of side of things. But the real giveaway is the cantilever arm. Now, you may have already watched my previous episode wherein I compared El Niño from M&M to the TMG Pits Santa Maria grill. If you haven't watched that, you can click a link up here on your screen and go see that. But one of the main things that sort of brought my attention to all this was that M&M grills, they have filed for a patent on the cantilever arm on a Santa Maria grill. Now, does Yoder Smokers know about that? Maybe they think that the patent won't be granted. I don't know. Maybe M&M even took back the application. I'm not sure. And of course, then there's also a possibility that if the patent ever was granted, that M&M smokers would be asking Yoder for a cut of the money that they're making off of this El Dorado. So all very interesting questions, but right now it's just speculation. And really what this video is me taking a look at this El Dorado. And just up front, I like it. I like a lot of things about this El Dorado, which isn't very usual for me. I'm not the biggest Yoder fan. And if you've watched this channel for a long time, you may have figured that out. Not a huge fan of their offset smokers. I like their pellet grills fairly well, although there are a few that I like better. So I was a little surprised when I saw this Santa Maria style grill, and I thought to myself, wow, not bad. So we're going to get into that. And the first thing that we're going to get into is the price. And obviously the Yoder is priced cheaper than the M&M smoker. All right, so starting off, when you look at the M&M El Niño's price, there's a price that is before you have the base. So, that's for drop-in if you want to, build concrete and put this thing in there and it be stationary that way. So to make things even, we're going to add the base and the standard paint. And the 36-inch then comes out to $5,500. And then the 48-inch comes out to $6,500. When you compare that to the Yoder El Dorado, you have a 36-inch, which is $4,695. And then you have a 42-inch that is $4,995. Now, the El Dorado has a powder coat on it, similar to all their other smokers. The powder coating is rather durable. When it scratches, though, it's not super easy to sort of polish over. So there's pluses and minuses with it. Paint, you can add more paint, but it may wear down a little bit faster than the powder coating. So, we're not comparing apples to oranges here, but it is, the best that we can do. And when we look at the square inches, we're going to see that there's going to be differences there as well. Now, in my last video, I talked to the people at M&M to try to figure out the size of these grates. And basically what they told me is that they had a certain number of grate pieces that they put in there. And the sizes of these grate pieces, 6.5 inches by 17 inches. And what you may notice is that 6.5 doesn't go into 36 evenly. So we're going to have some numbers that are for whether it's 5 grill pieces or 6 grill pieces that go into this grill, and I don't know which one it is. I'm just going to give both, but the square inches for 5 grill pieces in the 36-inch one would be 552.5 square inches, and for 6 it would be 663 square inches. Now on the 48, we're going to say that it's 7 grill pieces, and that's going to be 773.5 square inches. Now, when we look at the Yoder El Dorado 36-inch, they say that it's 810, but it's actually 819. Now, I have pointed out Yoder's funny math before on this show. I look at their actual grate dimensions and I multiply it together to get what's the actual number. And this time, they've actually rounded down, so it's actually larger than what they say, which I'm okay with that. It's when you round up that I seem to not like it as much. So they don't get dinged here. For the 42-inch, they give it exactly, though, at 954 square inches. Now, when we change and look at the dollar per square inches, we're going to see that the Yoder El Dorado is a good deal cheaper per square inch than El Niño from M&M. So it's not just less expensive, it's also less expensive per square inch. So for the 36-inch El Niño, if there's only 5 grill pieces, that is going to be $9.95. And just for comparison, I also decided to take the paint out. You can actually get it with linseed oil for no extra cost. So that would be, $5,000, not $5,500, or $6,000, and not $6,500 for the 36 and 48. So the 5 pieces with linseed oil only would be $9.05 per square inch. And if it was 6 pieces, it'd be a little bit better deal per square inch. And with the paint, you would have it $8.30 per square inch. And with the linseed oil, it'd be $7.54 per square inch. Now, the El Dorado is a good deal cheaper than that at $5.73 per square inch. And when we go to the 48 and the 42, so the 48 M&M, we see that the painted version is $8.40 per square inch, and the linseed oil is $7.76 per square inch. Now, when we go to the 42-inch El Dorado, we see that it is $5.29 per square inch. So that is actually the best deal per square inch, that larger El Dorado, if you're looking for bang for your buck, I think, in this matchup. And now we're going to move on to insulation. Now, both of these Santa Maria style grills are going to hold their heat very well, and that's mostly due to the fire brick that's going to be lining the basin. Now, both of them have double walled doors, so that's going to be steel with air in between and steel, and air is a really good insulator. And we're going to talk about the doors some more in a second. But the one thing that the El Dorado has that the M&M El Niño does not have is that the steel basin that holds the El Dorado has a further steel basin that is a further air gap even beyond the bricks, right? So even beyond the fire bricks. So that means that you can go up and you can touch the steel on the outside of the El Dorado, and it's not going to burn you or anything, right? So that extra insulation there is probably overkill. You probably don't need it whatsoever for the function of the grill. For safety concerns, if you have a lot of young children who might be around the grill, maybe that would be a concern. But in general, it is more than you need. Even when I was talking about the TMG pit and they don't have any fire bricks, it's just steel, that'll work, right? But as to which one is superior, it goes to the Yoder, which is strange just because M&M is pretty much the highest quality in sort of craftsmanship and stuff like that. So a little bit of surprise there. When we take a look at the wheels, we're going to notice that Yoder is doing a little bit better here as well. They have their 10-inch cast iron wheels. Now, you often see these on their pellet grill competition carts. So it seems that they've just migrated them over, in their factory to use on this cart as well. Now, the reason why these are going to work really well is because the wider the diameter of a wheel compared to the diameter of the axle, the more mechanical advantage you have getting it around. Okay, and when you look at the M&M casters, they look about to be 8 inches. So I'm guessing there, I don't know for sure, but I do know that the Yoder ones are a little bit larger. So those also are a little bit better. Now, fire access. This is one place that I do like what M&M has better. I like the swing out doors better than I like the fold down door. And the reason, of course, is simple. It holds in better heat if you want to go to one side instead of the other. You're not having the whole thing opened up, right? Now, is this a big deal? The fire bricks are going to hold in a lot of heat anyways, right? But just which is better? The fold out doors are better than the fold down. And the M&M, when they first made El Nino, they started with the fold down door and they changed. And I think that was the right decision. I imagine a lot of people asked for the fold out doors, so good for them. Now, as far as Yoder's design, the wood bar that goes across and the way that you lift it to bring that door down, I think it works very well. And if I had the Yoder, I would like it plenty fine. I wouldn't be too disappointed, so to say. But as to which is actually better, M&M takes it. Now, as far as grates go, both of them have grates that come out off of the grill. As I talked about before, M&M has several different pieces, and you pull them out. Now, so far, as far as I know, all that M&M supplies are bar grates. Now, the Yoder has V grates, and V grates are for catching grease and keeping flare-ups from happening on a grill. So it's going to have a collecting system. The grease is going to go somewhere. A lot of these things have you put like a cup at some point and it drains into the cup. At any rate, there's a way to collect that grease from your cooking food and not having flare-ups. And there's a debate going on whether bars are better, whether the V grates are better, whether it's worth having less flare-ups, whether less smoke is getting on your meat or whatever you're cooking because the grates, they block some of that. So which is better? I'm not entirely sure, I don't know. It's kind of up to preference, but they are different. Now, the El Dorado has 2 grates that come out on either side. So, I'll let you decide what you think is better, and I'll just leave it at that. But furthermore, as far as cleanup goes, the El Dorado has a pull-out drawer. Now, right at the edge, right by the fold-down door, there's several holes for that ash to go into that drawer when you're sweeping it out. I believe that the M&M just doesn't have anything like that, and you just have to sweep the ash out. How much better is it to have that drawer than just to have some sort of pan and sweep it into? I'm not entirely sure that it's a huge advantage, but having a drawer is nice in general. So I think that is slightly better for the Yoder, not hugely though. Now, another thing you'll notice that's a difference is that the El Dorado has a stabilization bar. So that's going to keep the grates very stable. I don't think that there's much to be said about the El Nino not being that stable. I don't know. I'd have to look at user reviews of that and whether or not that is a thing or not. One thing to see with the El Nino is that the cables, they Y a bit, so they Y down to the grate. But as for the El Dorado, it's a chain. So remember that for both of these, we have the cantilever arms coming up and over. For the Yoder, we have these chains that come down and a spool at the top. So it gets spooled up and it has those rods that stabilize the entire raising and lifting. But for the El Nino, nothing of that sort, and it just goes up and down from those cables. Now, one thing else that you're going to notice is that the flywheel for El Nino is wider than the flywheel for the El Dorado. And as far as the whole mechanical advantage thing, that is slightly better. Okay, so that is one other thing besides the doors that I do prefer on the El Nino. The last thing to consider is just the overall aesthetic impact of these grills. And I think that they both are good looking, There's nothing to knock on the El Dorado. It's a snazzy looking grill. I do think, however, that M&M puts out a really flashy product. Especially these ones, there's an upcharge for special looking paint. The regular paint also looks pretty good. As I said before, the difference between the powder coating and the paint, you have to take the good and the bad with both. But as far as visual impact, I think that the M&M maybe is just a little bit above the El Dorado. But for the price, you have to ask yourself, is it worth those extra thousands of dollars for, a statement piece like that in your yard when the El Dorado is nothing to spit at either, right? The El Dorado is gonna turn heads too. It's good looking too. So one more thing. So now we've done it. We've compared the M&M El Nino to the Yoder El Dorado. And I like both of these Santa Maria style grills. In the comparison though, I liked the El Dorado a little bit better. For many reasons. Price being very high up there. The people though who are buying these grills probably have a lot of money. Neither of them are inexpensive. So which way will they go? I don't know. If you're going to buy one of these Santa Maria style grills, leave a comment below as to why you picked one over the other, and give a review. We love to see that and hear people's experience. That's very instructive to other people who are trying to buy one of these things, whether you've had a good experience or not. So please do leave those in the comments. Thank you for watching, and as always, go outside, get your grill on, y'all.